Hello and hello. Welcome back to the Undisputed Champ YouTube boxing channel. If you like the videos I've already put out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the videos. And let's get into the video of today. Today we're doing the weekly boxing roundup over the fights on this weekend. And let's fly straight into it. I'm only going to be looking at certain fights that I found interesting on specific cards, but feel free to go and watch all the cards in their entirety if you want to see the rest of the fights. We'll go straight to the BT card, and it's the main event that I want to focus on. Denzel Bentley versus Felix Cash for the British middleweight title and the Commonwealth middleweight title. This fight only lasted 3 rounds, but it was a really good 3 rounds. And since it was such a quick fight, I'm going to put a link in the description for it, or at least the highlights, and please go and watch the fight. The build-up for this fight was actually really interesting. They did sort of a round table. They were on IFL going back and forth with each other. Apparently there was a sparring that happened between them, a sparring match that happened between them, and there was a bit of animosity between that. They both looked really confident coming into the fight. Cash was talking cash money. He was saying, look, I'm here, I'm going to knock this guy out, and I'm going to move on. And Bentley was really confident too. He said, come in there, try that, and you're going to be the one on the receiving end of a KO. So I was excited for the fight, and the fight lived up to it. It started off with Cash just landing heavy punches from the first round. I think he even hurt Bentley in the first round. Bentley tried to disguise it, but you could see where his legs betrayed him a little bit, and he was kind of lucky to get out of that round unscathed. But Cash was landing heavy right hands. Cash is actually a very sturdy boxer, and it looks like he has very good fundamentals. I know he was on the GB team for a while, and he has an extensive amateur background, and it was showing through. He was very sturdy, kind of like a Kell Brook style, but punches harder. And Bentley looked all right, but he just kept keeping his left hand a bit too low, and it was allowing Cash's right hand to just go over the top of the left hand and smash Bentley in the face. Cash then proceeded to continue that sort of dominance. Bentley came into it a little bit in the second round, but Cash was still more dominant in the second round, in my opinion. And in the third round, he landed a peach of a right hand, which rocked Bentley to his socks. And then Cash proceeded to ride 2 more right hands, and the referee stopped the fight. It was a good stoppage. Bentley was severely hurt and defenseless a little bit. And I know Bentley tried to complain a little bit, but I think in his heart of hearts, he knew that the stoppage was fair. I think Cash can definitely move on now from this British domestic level Commonwealth and go on to European and fringe world. If he can continue to improve, he'll be ready for some of these middleweights. Like he may not be an elite middleweight yet, but look, when there's guys like Demetrius Andrade, very good boxer, Cash could maybe not go in there yet, but develop a bit more and then get in there. And then there's Triple G with a belt, and so Cash can really do something, and I hope to see more of him. Bentley, on the other hand, he can come again. He probably needs to hang around a bit more at domestic level. It's his first loss, so he can build off that, and he can definitely come again. He does need to improve, and I'd say he needs to work on keeping his left hand higher or moving his head more. So if you can work on those things, you can come again. On to the next fight I was interested in, and this was on the DAZN card that happened in Barcelona, Spain. And this was on a Friday, and it was between Kerman Lejarraga versus Jez Smith. I hope I pronounced the Kerman Lejarraga name correct. If not, apologies. And this was a very interesting fight. Kerman was the former European welterweight champ, and that was when I first heard about him, when he was smashing people like Frankie Gavin to bits. I know he beat up Tyrone Nurse. And he was kind of doing a bit of a number on British fighters who'd go over to Spain and he'd just do a number on them. But he ran into a guy called David Avanesian, and David Avanesian stopped him twice. So Kerman went for a bit of adversity at welterweight and moved up to junior middle, 154. I haven't really heard much of Jez Smith, and I wasn't really expecting much of him. I was expecting Jez to just kind of get blown away by Kerman, since he was a late replacement, or it was a late notice fight for him. Haven't heard much from him, but I was very surprised. Jez Smith, even though it was a late notice fight, he came in there to fight, and he was doing a number on Kerman. He was doing a number on him. He was boxing very well. He was listening to his corner, whoever his trainer was. I'll see if I can find his name and put his name in the chat. But Jez was just boxing to instructions perfectly, and he had a really beautiful uppercut that he was just sneaking in there. And then the uppercuts that he was sneaking in there, eventually he knocked Kerman down twice. He knocked Kerman down in the third with a beautiful uppercut, and then knocked him down in the fourth with a beautiful uppercut. And I was like thinking, oh my God, it's going to be an upset. Like, maybe Jez is going to get Kerman out of here. But Kerman is a wily veteran. After the first knockdown, he spat his gum shield out, bought himself more time. Normally, this is a tactic that only really works once, and then the referee would be like, if you do that again, points deduction. But he spat his gum shield out, took a long count, and then went to the corner. Gum shield got rinsed off, took his time, put the gum shield back in, buying time. After the second knockdown, spat the gum shield out again. And this is where I'll say the referee kind of let the Jez down, he let the fight down. Because no warning, no points deduction, nothing. He just allowed Kerman to spit the gum shield out without any warning, and allowed him to get more time than he should have had to recover. Then Kerman, as a tough, wily veteran, he gritted out those rounds. He made it into the fifth and started to stick it on Jez. He started to apply pressure, effective aggression. And Jez was wilting. I don't know whether it was he didn't have a long enough camp. I don't know whether it was he always does this in his fights, because I haven't seen a lot of his fights, but he started wilting and Kerman started to get the better of him. And in the sixth round, he was applying the pressure, and the referee, in my honest opinion, ruined the fight. Completely ruined the fight, because he jumped in as Kerman was applying a bit of pressure and he stopped the fight. It was a very premature stoppage. People need to be looking into that stoppage because it looked like a hometown stoppage. And I just felt sorry for Jez because he was putting in a good fight. At least let the guy get knocked out if he's in there. Don't stop it. Or if you're going to stop it, let him at least get hurt or look like he's in trouble. He didn't look like he was in trouble. He was covering up. A few of the punches were getting through, and then the ref stopped the fight. So Kerman Lejarraga, or Lejarraga, I hope I've said it right anyway. He has snuck out of there with a W. He definitely won't be fighting Jez again. He's going to hide out in Spain for a little bit and see if he can get himself a European title shot at 154. But fair play to Jez. He acquitted himself well. And I want to see him again on a full camp. I want to see him make a name. He shouldn't give up this boxing because he has got skills. He's definitely got skills and abilities, and he's got some wrinkles. He just needs a gas tank. If he can get one of those, he needs to get doing his road work, get on the treadmill. He can get a gas tank. He could potentially be an issue for somebody. And then the last fight that I'm going to highlight, it was on the ESPN card, and it was between EDGAR BERLANGA versus Denzel Bentley. Berlanga, if you didn't know, was on a 16-fight first round KO streak. He was 16-0 coming into this fight. All 16 fights ended in a first round KO. There's actually a video on YouTube where you can watch all his 16 fights in their entirety. It's about 22 minutes long. And I'm going to put the link to that in the description. And you're just like, wow, I've watched your first 16 fights in 22 minutes. That is amazing. But yeah, he was on a crazy streak. And came up against Denzel Bentley. Again, another guy who I didn't know much about. And he held a record of 23-3 coming into the fight. But what I did find out about him is that he's a tough SOB. Tough SOB, because he took some crunching shots in there. He actually got knocked down 4 times in the fight, but he didn't give up. He didn't pack it in. He didn't fold up like a deck chair, and he was the first one to take Berlanga the full distance. He took him the full distance, and you know what? Up-and-coming fighters, promoters will probably use Denzel Bentley again, because that toughness, wow. He took a huge punch in the last round that a lot of guys would have said, that's enough for me. But he said, nope, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. And Berlanga, wow, he's an exciting fighter. If you're new into boxing and you're looking for an exciting fight to follow, Berlanga is definitely one of those guys that you want to start following. 168, he's a wrecking machine of a puncher. And you know what? It was good that he went the full distance in this fight, because as he steps up in opposition, you can't be thinking, I'm going to knock everyone out in the first round. And if he goes looking for that, he's probably going to be on the receiving end of a KO. So it was good that he went the distance. He now knows, look, I've got to work on all assets of my game, all facets of my game all the time. I've got to work on my boxing. And I want to see more of him. I want to see Top Rank pushing him, and I want to see more of him because he's a super exciting fighter. And yeah, that's it. That's the little roundup from me. If there were any fights that you thought I should cover, put that in the comment section. And yeah, on to the next one.